Hey everyone, this is Zach, and at the final part of the World Championship, we ended up getting additional information on what seems like mostly the Indigo Disc, which is the second part of the DLC. Now, it is to note that this DLC is the later one for the winter, so we might not see these come into effect for a while, but it is still really interesting news, so let's talk about it. If you guys enjoy this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's jump into it. So the first thing we have to talk about is starters are back, and this is a big deal because let's see, where was he? You see this guy right here? That's Lydon, which means Incineroar is coming back. So this is probably very positive for a lot of VGC people that we are seeing Incineroar come back. So in Sword and Shield, they did limit the starters to a certain amount of things that come home through home compatibility. So with this one, we will have all the starters, which is really cool because we get to see some starters that we haven't seen in a while, like Sceptile and Embor. But at the same time, Incineroar is back, and it seems like they are going to appear in the Indigo Disc DLC. So if you don't have them, you have them. They will be catchable, which is curious to me because will you be able to shiny hunt these? So will this be a really easy way to shiny hunt starter Pokemon? We also, through this, I believe, I don't know if it was there before, but we got confirmation of Smargle. Smargle is really strong in VGC because if you don't know, Smargle's sketchability allows it to learn basically almost any move. So this Pokemon is going to be very tricky in VGC because you don't know what it's going to have. Not to mention it has the ability Moody, which will create stat drops in place of stat increases. So it can really mix up a lot of things with RNG rolls and stuff. So the next part we have is talking about the battle system that is going to go in Indigo Disc. They really don't talk about the battles, but they do talk about some new moves that we're going to get, which we'll talk about quickly now and then a little bit more in detail later. So the first one we're going to see is Psychic Noise, which deals damage and prevents healing, which is really good for dealing with Pokemon with leftovers, Pokemon with heal pulse, Pokemon with life dew. And after this is Upper Hand. So what Upper Hand does is it stops priority. Next, we see the new Paradoxmon and Raging Bolt and Iron Crown, and we get to see their signature moves. First one, Raging Bolt with Thunderclap, which is a priority electric type move, which I feel like can be really good. Now the thing with this, it says it strikes before a target's attack, so I wonder if its priority will be higher than +1. Like, will this be an electric type E-Speed? And with Iron Crown, we are getting a Tyon Cutter, which seems just like a steel type dual wing beat, which is really good for dealing with fairies, especially anything with a Focus Sash, or in this case, as they show, like Mimikyu in Disguise. And this is basically the end and the big deal. And there is what I think is going to be the gimmick of Tera Pagos, which is the legendary in the Indigo Disc DLC, and this is going to be a Tera Type that is all Tera Types. So I definitely thought this was going to be the gimmick of the Tera Pagos. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Tera Pagos has all of the symbols on its back, so I definitely thought it was going to have like a hidden power that just picked whichever Tera move is the strongest, and I wonder how this is going to work defensively, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But yeah, it seems like it's going to give you every type. So is it going to be considered typeless? Who knows? No release date for the Indigo Disc. That is okay. And they talk about the Mew and Mewtwo, which you should already know about that by now. DLC close. And this is the part that makes me wonder. bring your favorite Pokemon home connectivity is coming. So I would have to assume there's going to be a lot of Pokemon that are going to be allowed. And maybe that's what Series E is all about. There's going to be Pokemon allowed into Scarlet and Violet through Pokemon Home before you can catch them in the DLC. So once again, you're going to be able to bring Mons over to home and probably bring them into VGC before you can catch them actually in the game, which has been a big point of contention this weekend for a lot of players, and it's a lot of things I agree on. This creates a gap in accessibility and kind of rewards people for buying multiple games. And by buying multiple games, I mean either playing Pokemon for a long period of time, or if you just started, you're gonna have to play with people and try to get these Mons. And as we heard this weekend, that was a problem. So this creates a barrier of entry for people who are new to Pokemon, competitive Pokemon with Scarlet and Violet, and it's one of those things that's like it's really hard to talk about right now because no one's doing it in a positive light, and there are valid points of criticism on both sides. It really kind of stinks that if they allow this group of Pokemon, especially if Incineroar is one of them, before they're obtainable in game, like, people aren't going to be happy about it. That's all I'm saying. But let's talk about the new moves for a second, because I do think they're really interesting. I do think they looked at the way that the meta was forming, and they kind of planned some good amount of moves. These are definitely new moves that kind of hint that there is going to be some form of move tutor. So I hope that more move tutor moves come back. Grassy Glide on Rillaboom, I'm looking at you. But if we have to wait this long to get them, that's kind of a bummer, especially because like Rillaboom had Grassy Glide beforehand. So I do hope they're giving more move tutor moves, and I hope that they're bringing back old ones like Grassy Glide. Please give Rillaboom Grassy Glide again. So Upper Hand. Upper Hand is a physical move. It's a fighting type move. So this is going to stop priority. I think this is really good because some of the Pokemon literally have game plans built around priority. The first one that comes to mind here is Dragonite Chien-Pao, and this being a fighting type move definitely kind of looks directly at Terra Normal Dragonite with extreme speed. So this move allows it to go first, so it probably has like when it's activated, it probably has like a +5 priority here. And I wonder if this is considered priority as well. Like, can my Upper Hand stop another opponent's Upper Hand if I'm faster? That's going to create some really unique dynamics in a lot of situations. But if you do hit a Pokemon that was using a priority move, the opponent flinches. I bet you it has the same priority as Fake Out, which would be +5. Either way, causing a Pokemon using a priority move to flinch is really good, because before, like, priority moves were the way to get around those flinches, those Fake Outs, those crits. Not necessarily a Fake Out, but this is going to be a new option to deal with that priority. Before, it was you had to have Quick Guard, or you had to have a Pokemon that stops priority, like Serena for Rigorath or Indeedee, or anything with Psychic Terrain, Tapu Lele, but Tapu Lele's not in the game. But so this is going to be really, really good, but I feel like it's going to be really telegraphed. Then again, a lot of times priority moves are really telegraphed. Psychic Noise. So this psychic attack deals damage, but bathes the target in an abrasive sound wave. This prevents the target from recovering HP through moves, abilities, or items for a certain number of turns. I'm guessing it's 3 turns. In all honesty, 3 sounds just about right. It will go as long as like a taunt or something. This is just a psychic attack that is heal block. I wonder how many turns heal block goes for. 5 turns. Heal block goes for 5 turns, like Trick Room and all that stuff. Heal block could be really good here. It depends on how much damage it does, whether it will be worth carrying, and its distribution, because we see Gardevoir gets it. Gardevoir isn't super used in VGC, so we'll see. Next up is the moves that came with the new Paradox Pokemon, Raging Bolt and Iron Crown. So first off, let's talk about Thunderclap. Thunderclap is an electric type special move that allows the user to move first if the opposing Pokemon has chosen an attack as its next move. Oh, it is an electric type Sucker Punch. So not as good as an electric type E-Speed. But this gives it something to pair with Chi-Yu. On the priority sense, there's not a lot of special moves that have priority. So this is interesting to see that we are getting a priority move that has special on the special side, and also electric, because electric is a really good type. So to get an electric type Sucker Punch is going to be really good. Just like Sucker Punch though, if it is not using an attack, it is not going to work. So there's definitely been some ways that you can play around Sucker Punch. So there are going to be some ways that you can play around this as well. And either way, I think it's a really good and exciting move. All right, next up is Iron Crown. Iron Crown is really interesting. It is something that I want to see do well, but we have to... the Steel Psychic typing. Oh, the typings. Electric Dragon. Okay, that made sense. And then Steel Psychic. So that means that they are changing the fighting type for the Swords of Justice. They are changing the fighting typing for psychic, and for the legendary beast trio, they are dinosaurs that are dragon type. And 1,000 pounds. Heavy Slam's going to be really good on this one. So glad I caught that with the typings. And Iron Crown's new move,
Tachyon.
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 Tachyon. Tachyon Cutter. Tachyon Cutter looks like a dual wing beat, but it is important to note that if you read the description, it says this move never misses. One of the downsides of dual wing beat is that dual wing beat has a chance to miss. So to have something like this in the steel typing that does not miss is a pretty good move here. I wonder once again how much damage it's going to do. It will probably be the same base power as dual wing beat, so we could just look that up. I don't feel like doing it right now. But either way, this is going to be a good move for, the example they show Mimikyu with Disguise or Focus Sash Fluttermane, because it is a steel type move. So being steel and psychic, if you can tear one of those types away, it's going to be good against Fluttermane. Hopefully. Fluttermane will still be very viable. Okay, so let's talk about the new Tera Type. Let's read into this, see if we can pull anything out of it, any important information. I do think this is going to be very important. The thing we have to see is how easy is it going to be able to slap on Mons? Is it going to be 50 of a new shard, or is it going to be a special process, So that's one thing that we don't know yet, and that will depend on the viability of the move. The Terrestrial phenomenon first appeared in Scarlet and Violet, grants Pokemon special power while making them sparkle like brilliant jewels. It plays an important role in battles. Terrestrializing your Pokemon opens up a new world of strategy, since it allows you to change your Pokemon's type to its Tera Type, which can increase the power of moves with the same type or change your Pokemon's weakness. Yes, we already know that. Tera typing is a really good mechanic in all honesty. I do really like Terrestrialization. I feel like it is a pretty balanced mechanic, and it's one of those ones that are available to all Pokemon. So all Pokemon can take advantage of it. So this is kind of like what they've been moving towards. It's basically hidden power, but you can use it defensively. And now in the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero, Pokemon Scarlet or Pokemon Violet, a new Tera Type has been discovered, a 19th Tera Type. So something seems different from the 18 Tera Types we've seen before, but this is much unknown yet. What is the truth behind the 19th Tera Type? And it seems like, so I feel like this is going to be kind of like Flying Press. So for those of you who don't know, Flying Press is a signature move of Hawlucha, and when you use Flying Press, it is both a fighting type and a flying type, and it just chooses whatever is going to do the most damage. I think that's what this Tera Type is going to be. It's going to be something that changes Terras on the fly. So it's going to use whatever Terra is the best into that Pokemon. So we'll have to see, does it adjust? So if I use this Terra Blast into Golden Go, and it should be like Terra Fighting, or no, it should be Terra Ground, it should be Terra Fire, it should be Terra Ghost. But if that Golden Go terrestrializes into a water type, does this Terra Blast change into electric or grass? That is definitely something we're going to have to see. And once again, like how viable is it based on how many Pokemon can you put on? How easy is it to get? And is there going to be a limit on it? Like, are you only going to be able to have one of these Tera types on your team? Or can you just slap it on all your Mons so Terra Blast is always doing the best? And how does it work defensively? Because I feel like this is more of an offensive Terra Blast than a defensive one. We'll have to see what kind of defensive capabilities it gets, because with Terastallization, there's a lot of Mons that solely use Terastallization as a way to become more defensive, avoid certain things such as Spore, or Earthquake, or all that stuff, or Fake Out, for example. So how is this Tera Type going to work defensively? For that reason, I think this is more of an offensive weapon than a defensive one. So we'll have to see how this affects Pokemon defensively. Like, are you going to be, like, is every move going to be super effective against you? Are you going to be able to resist every move? We'll have to see. Either way, that's going to be all. Congratulations to all the people that did well at Worlds. I know there's a lot of crazy stuff going on about it, but I mean, at the end of the day, when you're interacting with people, when you're discussing it, be nice, be kind, and people have different perspectives and different opinions, and just respect that, you know? Just remember that when people get passionate about it, when people are wanting accessibility to be better, it's coming from a place of love. Like, we love to play this game. We want more people to play it. We want it to be easier for more people to play. So a lot of these things, like the home features, if these Pokemon come to the game early, this is just creating more of the problem that we've discussed a lot about this weekend. And that's going to be a bit of a bummer. But remember, when you discuss it with people, just everyone's a person behind an account. So be nice to one another. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this news. I think it's really interesting. I think it's really cool. And according to some gift kits that some influencers got from the Pokemon Company during Worlds, we should get more information, which seems like another Pokemon on the 22nd. So hopefully I will have another video out before then. But until next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.